Good afternoon. My name is Dr. Adrienne King, and I serve as the University of Toledo's Associate Vice President for Marketing Communications. I'm also going to be the facilitator for today's Countdown to Launch webinar series. As you all know, the university has been preparing diligently all summer to welcome our students back to a safe campus this fall. We're excited to have our students back on campus, but we do know that things are going to look a little different. And so we're holding these webinars so that you can ask whatever questions, share your concerns, and we can have a campus conversation as we look ahead to what the fall semester is going to look like. The focus of today's session is going to be academic success, although we'll be happy to answer any questions that you might have. To start us off, I'd like to welcome Provost Karen Bjorkman. Dr. Bjorkman is the Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. And we also have Dr. Julie Fischer-Kinney with us. She is the Associate Vice President for Student Success. Provost Bjorkman, would you like to give us an introduction and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do here at the university?
I would be happy to, and when I figure out what I do, I'll let you know. So, my name is Karen Bjorkman. I have been at the University of Toledo. I'm going into my 25th year here. I started as an assistant professor. I have been a professor for many years, really loved working with my students, and then sort of went into first chair of a department. I was dean of the College of Natural Sciences and Mathematics for 8 years, and then a year and a half ago, I became the provost for the university. And many of you may wonder, what is a provost? I would say I'm the chief academic officer. So my focus is really on the academic mission of the institution, on supporting our students. We want you to be successful. I want to just echo what Dr. King said in that we miss our students very much, and we are very excited to have you coming back. We're very excited to be back working with our students, and what we want to talk about today is some of the ways that we can ensure that you're successful and that we're helping you in every way we can to get a great rocket education.
Dr. Bjorkman, one of the questions that we've received a lot from students and parents is the difference between course modalities that we're going to be offering this fall. Can you walk us through the difference between face-to-face, online, remote, and hybrid blended courses?
Sure. So as you can imagine, things are going to look a little different when you come back. Because of the pandemic, we've had to take some special safety measures to make sure that we have adequate space between people. You can see that we're all wearing masks. That will be required on campus for everyone. The intent is to be able to do a safe but good reopening of the campus. And so in order to do that, you may remember back in the spring when all of this first happened and we were forced to close down and go completely online with very little warning. So as a result, many faculty had to, with 2 days notice, figure out how to deliver their classes remotely via WebEx or Zoom or some other means, and they really did not have time to properly prepare for an online course. So the courses that were already online were fine, but the courses that had not been designed to be online may have been a little rough because some of those faculty had never taught online before. I want to just say that the experience that some of our students had in the spring in some of those courses may not have at all been representative of what a true online, properly designed course can be, where it can be engaging, it can include lots of good interaction. There are many opportunities to work with faculty and to work directly with each other through these remote means. So we've devised a scenario. Obviously, with the classroom spacing, we have limited number of spaces in our classrooms for a certain number of students, and we've had to reduce the capacity of a given classroom to make sure there's room for everybody to space out. So because of that, we've set up several different models where fairly large classes where we simply don't have classrooms big enough to handle that could be done in one of two ways. One is they could be remote or online, and they could be hybrid where they're blended, so some of the class might be in class one day of the week, the other half of the class might be in there the other day of the week, and they would swap back and forth between being online versus in class. That's what we would call a hybrid or a blended course. The online course is designed to be online from the get-go, and it's usually designed to be what we would call asynchronous. That means it's not that everybody is at the same time. So that you have a course which is being delivered in a mechanism that is remote, but is actually done at the time of the class. So all the students and the faculty member are together, okay, at that time. The other option, what we call DL online, as opposed to remote, is typically done synchronously. Wait, I mixed those up. My apologies. Sorry, let me get it right. The remote course is the one that is done synchronously, that is at the same time. The one that is online is typically done asynchronously, and what that means is you don't have to tune in at a particular time. You can tune in when you're ready to watch the video or the presentation of the course. And then the other materials like assignments and interactions, chat rooms, and so on will all take place online, but those can be done at different times. So that's the difference between those. And then we will also have face-to-face courses where the class will meet regularly at a given time and day. We'll just have a larger classroom for a smaller number of students so that we can do that safely and keep everybody well spaced out.
Fantastic. So just to simplify it, if I am a student and I have a remote course,
Yes.
that meets on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 o'clock, that means I will be logging on to the course online,
Yes.
but logging on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 o'clock.
That's exactly right. Yes.
Fantastic. I know our faculty have been working over the summer to prepare to offer courses in these new online environments. Can you talk to us a little bit about that and maybe even some tips for how students can be successful in an online environment?
Sure. Well, so we have actually now 375 faculty who have become certified in teaching online courses. They have gone through a training workshop. They have learned the best techniques for teaching in this sort of remote or online environment. And so they've really learned a lot. Realize we transitioned 4,000 courses in the spring with no preparation. So our faculty, I really want to give them great credit because they are very concerned that they make sure that they're teaching and that their courses are engaging and that they're high quality. So they've been working all summer in learning how to do these things better if they had never taught online before. And so now many of our faculty have done that work and become certified so that they're prepared to present really excellent online, in the cases where their courses are online, education. And that'll be a little different than it was in the spring because there was no preparation or no time to do that at that time.
Fantastic. And we have some fantastic faculty who do teach online. One of them has helped put together a video with some tips here for our students on how to be successful in an online or remote course. So let's hear from Barbara.
Look at the syllabus, figure out, are there regular due dates? Are there times when you need to be checking in? I always recommend students check in at least once every 48 hours, log into the course. It's easy to sort of walk away from the computer and forget it's there. So you do need to make sure you're logging on. And I tell students, think about how much time the class would take. If you're in the physical classroom and you're taking a 3-credit course, you're going to be in that classroom 3 hours a week and then have homework assignments outside that time. So go to your calendar and block that time, whether it's from 2 to 4 a.m. or 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. or whatever the course credit hours are. Typically, you have your 3 hours plus maybe 6 to 9 hours outside the classroom that you'll need to do. So figure that total of 9 to 12 hours for that course and put that in your calendar. That's the best place to start, and make sure you're regularly checking in with that course. The second thing I would say is don't forget that instructor is your instructor and they're there for you. So always reach out. I have students who have come to me as a last-ditch effort where they've looked everywhere else, and I'll say, why didn't you come to me first? It's my content, it's my delivery, I know what I'm teaching you, and I'm here for you. So I would recommend, first step, read everything. Read everything first. Don't go to the professor before you've read everything. But if you really gave a good effort for a little bit of time and you're really struggling, email that professor. I always set up WebEx meetings or Blackboard Collaborate meetings with my students, and we can share screens.
Dr. Fischer-Kinney, many of our students are concerned about learning in an online or a remote format. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role here at the university and give us some tips on how students can be successful?
Thank you, Dr. King. As she mentioned, my name is Dr. Julie Fischer-Kinney. The students like to call me Dr. JFK. It's an easy way to remember me, I hope. I serve as your Assistant Provost for Student Success and Retention, and also as the Director for our Center for Success Coaching. I am a very proud Rocket through and through. I've been part of our campus community for over 28 years, either as a first-generation college student, or as a graduate student, or as an employee. I'm also the proud parent of a UToledo senior. My daughter will be graduating in May from our respiratory care program, so I truly believe in the mission of the University of Toledo and all that we're here to do to support our students. If you are a parent or a family member of a student watching today, I want to thank you for being here to support our students. I'm very proud and I'm very humbled to work at this fabulous institution. I feel that we have fantastic faculty, staff, and students, and we are in a community that truly, truly cares about our students. So my role is all about student success. And when I use that word, I don't just mean academic success, I mean holistic student success, the entire being of our students. So our goal is to support and empower our students academically, personally, and professionally from orientation through graduation in a very holistic and student-centered approach. We know when we shifted in March to remote learning during the pandemic, it was probably one of the most challenging times of my life personally and professionally. We've heard from our students the significant struggles they've encountered. Things have exacerbated, financial challenges, personal challenges, mental health challenges, food insecurity, housing insecurity, loss of jobs and income, loss of ability to access technology, Wi-Fi, many, many challenges that our students have encountered, and we've been very proud to support and empower them as best as we can through these challenges. One of the things that we did in the spring semester was start to shift very, very quickly and rapidly to make sure our students could be successful in their online coursework. One of those facets that we took was the creation of a library of YouTube videos where we could highlight different ways that our students could be successful. That might include time management, stress management, and one of the videos we'd like to show you today is a little bit about procrastination. I want to give a shout out to Success Coach Tony in this video, who will highlight some of the ways our students can navigate and be successful through these challenging times.
Hi, my name is Tony Schrock, a success coach here at the University of Toledo, and we're going to talk briefly about procrastination tips and procrastination styles. And yes, you may be asking, procrastination styles, we're all guilty of them, so hopefully that makes you feel a little bit better that sometimes the reasons why you're failing to take action or maybe lacking to sticking to that plan may not necessarily be your fault. Maybe it's just really your strategies involved, right? Your game plan. So before we even get started, click the link below. You're going to see a sheet that you can view, download, and print off. It's Styles of Procrastination. This gets a little more detailed on the description and tips for success, and you can actually kind of pinpoint where you fall, maybe in even a couple categories as well, too. A lot of us do. But also, too, I highly advise you after viewing this, talk to your success coach so you can set up a very individualized game plan to help you succeed.
Great. Now we're going to start to take some questions, and we've got a lot of questions coming in. For those of you who are tuning in live, feel free to add your questions either on Facebook or on YouTube, and we're going to try and get through as many of the questions as possible today. The first question we're going to toss to Provost Bjorkman. This is from a student. I originally signed up for my class to be in person, but it got changed to be online. Will it be treated like an online class where I have to read the textbook and teach myself? Or will our professors be posting recorded lectures from their in-person classes to watch? How will that work?
Right. So our faculty are being careful about preparing material for their classes, but the intent is not for you to teach yourself. Many of them are actually working to make these classes very engaging. In the case of the online, which is where you can watch the things at your time, at your own time, they're going to be preparing material in tidbits where you can learn a little at a time. They're going to work through that. There will be assignments and there will be interaction through Blackboard where you can actually have chat rooms, you can ask questions, and they can be done at different times. So you can ask a question and you'll get an answer at some point back. So that can be it can still be a very interactive process even if you're not doing it at the same time as the professor's materials. One advantage to that is that if you miss something, you can always go back and watch that segment again, which is handy. But we're also asking our faculty to make sure that they are recording the material in the event that even if they're face-to-face, if a student is sick or is unable to come to class one day, that they don't necessarily have to miss things. They can watch it later. And so we're trying to make this as flexible as possible, given the situation we're all in, to make sure that our students are getting the material that they need.
Fantastic, thank you. Dr. Fischer-Kinney, we have a student who asks, I really struggle with online courses. What resources or tips for success do you have for me?
That's a great question. I think what I want all of our students to know is that regardless of the modality, we are poised and ready to assist and support our students. And that is in a number of ways. You can expect to continue to have access to resources such as tutoring, academic advising, success coaching, even the Counseling Center and Career Services. We are here through all kinds of modalities to best meet you where you are at. And that could include phone, text, email, web chat, virtual chat. We've started to develop a lot of resources. Many of our continuing students might be familiar with some things that we've offered in the past, such as Success Series workshops, Coach Express events. We are quickly flipping those using a lot of technologies to make those on demand and accessible to you through mobile friendly devices. So we are ready. We're excited to have you back on campus and to continue to ensure that you are academically successful at the University of Toledo.
Thank you. Provost Bjorkman, we've got a question here for you. This one is related to the missed class policy. Mm-hmm. Will the university be changing the missed class policy to better accommodate students who are experiencing symptoms of COVID? Or who should the student reach out to if they're sick and they're going to be unable to attend class?
Right, thanks for that question. So one of the things that we've done is we've set up within each college what we're calling a COVID advocate, and this will be a single point of contact within your college that you can get in touch with if you have an issue like that. And then they can help you get to the right people that you need to talk to. They can help you, for example, with notifying your professors. That certainly falls under the missed class policy. There will not be any penalty. If students are not feeling well and they feel like they should not come to campus, please don't. We want to make sure that you can still be successful, but we also want to make sure you stay safe and everyone else stays safe. So we are fully prepared to deal with that and to help our students who are in that situation to navigate that.
Fantastic, thank you. Dr. Fischer-Kinney, we've got a question from a student. What if I have technical issues? How flexible will faculty be regarding grading and the issues that we may have like this around online learning? And who should I contact for help?
Those are all excellent questions. From a technical standpoint, the first resource I would like to mention would be our information technology or IT area. They've been absolutely phenomenal since we shifted to the pandemic. We found ourselves in positions of needing to expand Wi-Fi access and parking lots on our campus and computer loan programs for our students that didn't have access to technology. So our IT help desk is always accessible when you might have an issue such as a UTAD account password problem or maybe a Microsoft Office Outlook issue. If it's related to Blackboard, the next resource I guess I would like to point out would be our UToledo online help desk, and they are poised to assist you if you are encountering some technical difficulties in Blackboard. I'm always going to tell our students to always be reaching out and connecting with each and every one of your instructors. It's important you keep them in the loop about whatever might be going on. Sometimes our students encounter what I call third-party platform issues. We have products like Pearson products, for example. Please reach out to your success coach. If you start noticing some kind of issue, an access issue, you can always start with your success coach. We're going to get you connected to all of the help on campus and your instructor and advocate for you. So please don't be afraid that people are not here to support you. We are here every step of the way, and we will continue to do so to make sure you're successful, whether it's a technical issue or an academic issue.
Provost Bjorkman, will professors still have office hours if they're teaching online or remote courses? What will that look like, and how should a student get in contact with a faculty member if they need help with a course?
Right, that's a great question. So two things. I was actually talking to one of our faculty members just last week about his plans for his class, which is one of the larger classes, and he actually said, I'm going to have virtual office hours. I will have extended times for those. I will be able to, you can set up an appointment with me for a specific time that's convenient for you. We will have chat rooms, and we're also going to be available by email, by text message, and by phone. So, this particular professor was planning to hand out his cell phone number. You can text me with a question. If there's something that comes up, just please let me know so that I can help. So I think it's very important that you realize that we all here want you to be successful. And so I think reaching out to your success coach, reaching out to your faculty members, reach out to me if you can't get an answer anywhere else, and we will make sure you get the help that you need.
Great. We talk a lot about wanting students to take care of themselves if they're sick, not come to class if they have symptoms. But this is a good question. What if my professor gets COVID? What's the backup plan?
No, that's a good question, and we do worry about that. So what we've asked all of our department chairs to do is to make sure for all the courses in their department that they have someone who is sort of the backup secondary person in case a professor should get sick and need to take some time off, that we will have someone who can step right in and take over that course as long as is needed. And so we do have those backup plans in place for all of our classes, and we hope that that will allow us to deal with that.
Great, thank you. Dr. Fischer-Kinney, will resources like academic advising and tutoring be available? I know we covered this a little bit earlier, but this particular student wants to know what formats can they expect to see for those resources?
Absolutely. What I want to make sure our students and our parents and family members are aware of is that we are completely accessible to our students. And we're accessible through the modality that best works for our students. So if a student says, can I speak with you on the phone, or can I text you, or can we do a virtual chat? We've quickly shifted to using WebEx, Teams, Zoom, anything we can do to make sure that we're responsive and accessible to our students, so you can absolutely expect to continue to see high quality student services available for you.
Provost Bjorkman, our students are excited to get back on campus, and one of them asks, what will the library be available for us? And if so, what will the library look like?
Yeah, well, that's been an interesting event of trying to figure out how to make the library accessible. It will be. The library has been hard at work sort of reconfiguring things in the library so that we have social distancing. You'll see tables spaced farther apart. You'll see fewer chairs at a given table. The one thing I will say is there will be more limited access because we can't have as many people in the library at one time as we have had in the past. But we're going to try to make the library as accessible as we possibly can. You will notice it's a little different, and we're still working through some of the issues about, like, for example, would we want to set up an online reservation system for a student who wanted to have a certain block of time that they could be in the library? We're still working through some of those things, but by the time you get back, will have those figured out. But yes, the library will absolutely be open. And I will also point out, by the way, that even if the library is not accessible or open at a given time for you, that all of the resources of the library are available via online and remotely. So all of the, for example, the books, the electronic journals, all of the course reserve things are scanned and put online, so you'll still have access to those things, even at times, say, when the library's closed at 3 a.m.
Great. And Provost Bjorkman brings up a good point. A lot of the fine details of some of these plans are still being worked through, and all of those updates are being placed on the Rocket Restart website, which you can access from UToledo's homepage. So we do encourage you to be checking back often. We're updating that sometimes multiple times a day, so be checking back there for more information. Dr. Fischer-Kinney, now that the fall schedule has been finalized, who should I contact if I want to make changes to my schedule?
That's a great question. I would like to encourage our students to make sure you're connecting with your academic advisor. If you have any questions about your courses, your plan of study, you want to make a schedule change, that's your first point of contact. If you're not sure who your academic advisor is, if you would like to visit the Center for Success Coaching website, we have a direct link to connect you with your academic college and your academic advising office. I know my team of success coaches is probably on the chat box right now, dropping in some URLs and some links and contact information. Again, if you don't know where to start or where to go, please give our office a call, the Center for Success Coaching. We are here to support you and get you connected to the experts to best help you.
Provost Bjorkman, if my student is only taking online or remote courses, will their tuition be reduced? Why or why not?
No, that's a good question, and I get asked that question a lot. The answer is no, the tuition will not be reduced, and here's why. We intend to offer a robust learning environment. You're going to learn the material that you have learned, whether it's face-to-face or not. But also, I would just remind you that there's a misperception out there that online teaching is somehow cheaper or inferior. If you do it right, it's not. And I would also remind you that our same faculty are going to be teaching you. And the technology that we've had to put in place, and I will say that since March, we have invested hugely in the technology infrastructure here at the university, because as you can imagine, with pivoting to put 4,000 courses online in a very short period of time, we quickly ran out of, like everything, bandwidth and all kinds of things. And so we have invested heavily in making sure that we now have a very robust infrastructure for the technology to be able to do these kinds of things. And so, of course, that's why the tuition isn't reduced, because we're going to be providing you the same kind of instruction and the same kind of learning environment that you are used to.
Well, I don't think it would be a live webinar if we didn't have a question about parking. So I will take this one. We have a student who is asking if they are still required to pay for a parking space if their classes are remote. The answer to that is yes. Students have options to either purchase a parking permit per semester, or if your schedule is such that you're maybe only going to be on campus once or twice a week and you want to elect to pay the meters, there is meter parking on campus. So parking permits can be purchased beginning August 3rd. So as you're planning to come back, you will, if you're a returning student, you know that we offer a grace period for the first week of classes, but then yes, we will be ticketing for parking. So if you're going to be on campus, you need to either purchase a parking permit or plan to pay for metered parking. Let's see, Dr. Fischer-Kinney, we've got a student who is interested in changing their major. Who should they contact?
Please, I'm going to always say, start out with your success coach when in doubt. We have a lot of resources to assist you with career exploration, and I also want to give a plug to our career services department as well. But one of the resources we have available for students is something called Focus 2. And you can find that link on the Center for Success Coaching website. It's a free resource for you to kind of explore at your leisure to help you hone in on that. But our goal is to really assist on the coaching front with career exploration, career development, to then link you to faculty, to academic advisors, to individuals to help you explore further some of those professional opportunities. So again, you can always start with your success coach, but many, many folks on campus are here to help you navigate. We have so many programs at the University of Toledo. There's something for everybody. My own daughter changed majors after her sophomore year, so we're here for you. We're going to make sure that you earn your degree and that you achieve the goals that you have.
Great. Provost Bjorkman, we've got a lengthy question here, so we'll take this one in parts. Will co-ops, internships, student teaching, etc. still be available this fall?
So we're working through some of that. We're hoping that much of it will be. Obviously, student teaching is contingent on what's happening with the K through 12 schools, and so we don't know necessarily about those just yet. But the College of Education is certainly working with those people very closely. We want to make sure that all of our experiential learning opportunities, clinical experiences, student teaching experiences, co-ops. The engineering college is still working on co-ops. They're still sending students out. And so we expect that most of those things will be available. And in fact, our clinical kinds of health professions are already putting students in clinicals right now.
Great, thank you. And if, for example, student teaching is not available because of the district, how would that impact a student's career path and their learning? Are there going to be other options to replace it, or how would they fulfill those requirements?
Right, so the colleges that have these kinds of experiences are thinking now about, how can we, if that should happen and we can't place a student, say, in a school, how would we replace that? And so they've been a little creative with that. Obviously, when the schools go remote, they were able to actually have student teachers teaching alongside the students in the K through 12, or the teachers in K through 12, and just learning alongside how to do the remote learning for those students. So in fact, there were opportunities they were able to come up with that would give them the experiences that they would get through the student teaching experience, and give them the opportunity to work with the K through 12 students and understand what some of the issues might be there.
I know our Chief Technology Officer is going to love this question. Has the university done anything to beef up the campus Wi-Fi since it will be under more stress than ever before? Who wants to take that one?
Either one of us, I think, could take that question. But that was probably one of the top questions as soon as the pandemic hit that we were hearing over and over and over from students. So that has been expanded on campus. Many students might be familiar with Rocket Hall, for example, in Area 25, the parking lot surrounding that, to be able to access Wi-Fi from anywhere outside of that building, for example. Expansion over by Nitschke Hall, certainly Centennial Mall, many places on campus, the Collier building on the Health Science campus. I'll let Dr. Bjorkman maybe add to that list, but certainly a lot of accessible Wi-Fi, both in the heart of main campus, Health Science campus, and wider.
Right. And the only one Julie didn't mention was actually the area outside the Health and Human Services building. That whole parking lot is now Wi-Fi accessible. So we've expanded it and we've beefed up the bandwidth so that it will be fine. We've tested it thoroughly, I can guarantee you.
Yes, our IT folks have been very busy this summer doing a lot of upgrades to technology. Provost Bjorkman, will masks be required in face-to-face classes? And what happens if a student doesn't wear one?
Yes, masks will be required in all face-to-face classes. In fact, they will be required on campus in general, whether you're in class or not. If you are outside and you are able to maintain social distancing, you do not have to wear a mask. If you are eating, obviously you have to take your mask off to do that, but we ask that you put it back on as soon as you're done. But for the most part, we do ask, and realize that we're a community, right? Our campus, we're all rockets, and our rocket mission right now is to keep each other safe. And so all faculty will be wearing masks, our staff will be wearing masks. We ask our students to also wear masks just to help protect each other. If a student comes to a class without a mask, then there will be an issue, obviously, because it's not keeping everyone in the classroom safe. They will be reminded of the need to wear a mask and asked to go procure their mask and bring it back. If they don't do so, then they will be asked to leave the class until they can come back with a mask. They will be able to make up the material, obviously. And if they refuse to go get a mask and they refuse to leave the classroom, then we may have to dismiss the class for the day because it is not fair or safe to expose everyone else. And that's why we all need to wear a mask. It's a matter of community and keeping each other safe, and we all want to get through this together.
Thank you very much. Dr. Fischer-Kinney, I think this one is yours. I'm a returning student and haven't yet registered for the fall semester. Who should I contact to register for classes?
That's a great question. I want our students to know if you're not registered yet, there's still plenty of time. You can always start with your success coach. We'll get you pointing in the right direction, connected with your academic advisor. It's important that you review your plan of study. We always encourage that our students connect with their academic advisor at least once a semester and not self-advise to make sure you're in the appropriate courses to complete your degree in a timely fashion.
Thank you. So we've got some follow-up questions here on parking. I'll take these. As we discussed, if you are taking 100% online courses and you will not be on campus, you are not required to buy a parking permit. However, if you are going to be parking on campus, you either need to buy a parking permit per semester, or you can pay with the metered parking spots. We will be offering a grace period, as we always do the first week of the semester, but after that, parking tickets will be enforced. We're also getting a lot of questions on here about housing and dining. We do expect to have some exciting news to announce about dining, hopefully next week. And in one of the upcoming webinars, we will be focusing solely on housing and dining. So when we have those experts with us, we will make sure that we can get into those specific questions. For today, we want to try and stay focused on academic success, since Provost Bjorkman and Dr. Fischer-Kinney were so kind as to join us for that today. Dr. Bjorkman, last week, we heard from Dr. Amy Thompson, who has been helping lead the institution's pandemic planning response, and has been instrumental in the rocket restart plans. Can you tell us, does the university have a plan in the event that the COVID pandemic gets worse, and what kind of adaptations would be necessary?
Right, so that's a good question, and obviously we cannot take that question for granted. given what we've seen and what we're seeing now. And so, yes, the answer is we do have a plan for that, and it won't be scramble around like crazy. We actually have a plan where obviously many of our courses are already going to be either online or remote, and so they will just continue in that mode. For the hybrid and or face-to-face courses, we will need to convert them. But if you remember earlier, I said that we've asked our professors to be prepared that they're recording their classes and they're putting them online anyway, because we may have students who are sick and can't come to class, or we may have students who need to miss class because they have to take care of someone at home who's sick. And so there will be reasons why we need to do that. And the nice thing about that is they're already going to be doing some of that, and so it will just become a case where they will continue to do that and make it available to students to convert fairly easily. So it's not going to be the mad scramble that we faced in the spring with 2 days to do it. We're ready for it this time.
Great, thank you. We've got some follow-up questions here on the mask requirement. So I just want to be very clear for everyone who is tuning in. The university will be requiring masks of everyone, faculty, staff, and students when they're in campus buildings. This does include campus classes. This is a public health community initiative. We're all in this together, and so we will not take the risk of having a student or a faculty member who shows up to a course without a mask. There are information on the Rapid Restart website if a student needs to seek a special accommodation, and we will work with those students to get a schedule that allows them to take either online or remote courses. But if they're going to be taking face-to-face courses and be around other Rockets, we need them to be wearing a mask. We've also got questions on here about student health insurance. So we made some changes with student health insurance here at the university going into the fall. We worked very closely with the Student Government Association and our Graduate Student Association to identify a new healthcare provider that could provide reasonably priced insurance that provided good coverage for our students. That was really important. We also returned to an opt-out model. This is a best practice that we see among all of our peers here in Ohio. So if you logged into your account last night and saw your bill, you likely saw the student health insurance fee on there. If you have health insurance, either individually or you're on your parents' plan, you can go in and opt out. We do know that there was a glitch in the system, and if you submitted the information to opt out, you may have received a warning that it had been denied. That is not correct. It is actually being processed. It can take up to 48 hours to process, and then that fee will be taken off of your bill. If you have questions specifically about student health insurance, we encourage you to reach out to Leanna Glick. She's our student health plan administrator. Her direct office line is 419-530-3474. Again, that's Leanna Glick, and it's 419-530-3474. She will be happy to help assist you if you're having any trouble with that. Provost Bjorkman, we've got some folks who are joining us in here and are asking again about how they will access lectures or course materials in the event that they're sick, especially if they would come down with COVID and be asked to self-isolate for 2 weeks.
Right.
How will they get their course materials from all of those classes?
So those materials will be on Blackboard, and so you can log into your UTAD, go into your Blackboard site for that particular course, and all the materials should be there. If there is any issue with any of that, the first thing you should do is contact your instructor for that class, or contact your COVID advocate in your college, and they can help direct you or figure out what we need to do to get you the materials you need. So,
great. We've also got some follow-up questions here about the difference between remote courses and online courses. So this is new for us this fall. Provost Bjorkman, can you walk us through that again, the difference between a remote course and an online course?
Right, and correct me if I get it mixed up. So, so the online course is the course that is, you don't all have to be logged on at the same time. You can be, if you prefer to do things late in the evening, you can do that. If you prefer to watch it first thing in the morning, you can do that as well. So you don't have to be like in class online. You can do that at your leisure. One piece of advice about that is don't wait until the end of the week to do everything for the week, because that will be really painful. Okay, the second thing is the other version, which is remote, is the version where the whole class and the instructor will all be online at the same time, and there will be interactivity. So for example, I know some faculty are actually using clickers, but they're actually Wi-Fi clickers, so they can ask clicker questions in the class, and you can respond at home. And it will be just like being in the classroom, and there will be interactive discussion, there'll be chat boards, so all of that's going to be done through Blackboard.
Great, thank you. So we've got some students here who are concerned that the only thing we're going to be offering is online courses for the fall. So our goal, as we have stated since early in the summer, is to continue to offer students an on-campus college experience that will include face-to-face courses. Is that correct, Provost
That is
Bjorkman?
absolutely correct, yes.
If a student's schedule has shifted and they are now entirely in online or remote courses, do they have the flexibility to change their schedule at this point for the fall?
In some cases they do, and that's where they really want to be sure to talk to their academic advisor. In some cases we have the same course and we may have multiple sections of that course, and some of them are online or remote and some of them are face-to-face. And again, as I mentioned, part of the reason for that is that the classroom space suddenly isn't as big as it used to be, and so we have to be able to maintain enough room within the classroom. So in some cases, you can swap to a different section. If you're online and you would prefer to be face-to-face, you may have that option, or vice versa. In some cases, there may not be another section of the course that's in the other mode that you're looking for, but there may be a different course. For example, if you're trying to fulfill one of your general education requirements, there are a number of courses that can do that. Your academic advisor can help you find other options in that case, and maybe find something that interests you that you could do instead that would meet that modality. The thing you want to be careful about, though, is be sure to consult with your academic advisor on that, because you want to make sure that the courses you're taking, as Dr. Fischer-Kinney mentioned, we want to make sure that they're going to be the courses you need to complete your degree. We don't want you to get off track. We want to make sure that you're making good progress.
Great, thank you. So this is an interesting question. Dr. Fischer-Kinney, maybe you can help us out. We've got a student who's asking for recommendations on where they should go on campus if they have a remote course. So we know a remote course is one that requires them to log on at the same time as the class meets every day throughout the week, but they can be anywhere on campus. Do you have suggestions on great study spaces that they might find enjoyable for that remote course?
I've found through my own experience as an undergrad here and obviously as an employee, we have a lot of, I'll call them nooks and crannies around campus, very quiet places, and I think it's important that you find a place that best meets your learning style and is free of distractions. For some people, that might mean being in their car in the parking lot where they can access the Wi-Fi and they have a laptop. For others, it might be a quiet bench in one of our academic buildings. While the weather's nice, Centennial Mall is certainly a beautiful place to be outside. We have benches everywhere. We have picnic tables in different locations on campus. And as was mentioned earlier, with Carlson Library, we have prepared that for social distancing. So there's certainly a lot of places that our students can go, whether it is during a remote class or in between courses. So, if you're not sure where that might be or you want further tips, again, please reach out to your success coach, your academic advisor, any of us on campus. I always make myself accessible to our students, so please don't hesitate to call me directly, text me, we're here for you.
Yeah, I have to say my favorite place on campus is probably Centennial Mall by the water fountain. There's no better place to, when it's beautiful outside, move out and get an outside office for the day. So that's a great study space. Provost Bjorkman, there's some concerns being raised about the quality of the online courses in the spring. I know we talked a little bit about this at the beginning, but can you explain to us the difference between what happened last spring when we shifted very rapidly because of the pandemic versus the way online and remote courses are being planned for this fall semester?
Right. So just like with anything, having the time to prepare things properly makes a huge difference, right? So in the spring, we had no time to prepare. We had literally 2 days for many faculty who'd never taught in an online or remote setting to figure out what they're going to do. Most of them just turned to Zoom or WebEx or something and just conducted their class that way. But there was no time to actually put thought into how do we do this in an engaging and good, high quality way. I want to just point out that actually the University of Toledo is number 7 in the world in Quality Matters online courses. That is, these are very high level, high quality courses that were specifically developed to be offered in a remote or online setting, and they are designed to be extremely high quality. And so we've been developing more and more of these, and as our faculty have gone through these workshops over the summer, many more people are starting to work explicitly to make their courses very engaging on online. The difference is going to be quite remarkable.
Great. We've got some questions coming from students from different academic areas who are asking, they need to understand the rationale behind when we took a course online or remote, why some courses are hybrid, why some courses are offered face-to-face. Provost Bjorkman, can you help us understand? I know our faculty and our deans worked very carefully to think through the course objectives when they were deciding on the modality for how to offer these courses. Can you walk us through some of that decision making?
Sure. So in part, the first thing we had to look at was, do we have a space large enough to hold this classroom, to hold the number of students with the social distancing? And if the answer to that was no, then we had to say, okay, it either needs to shift to online or remote, or it needs to be going into a hybrid mode. And so the first thing we had to deal with was just the spaces we have available in which to offer courses. I'll give you an example. We had a classroom that it was actually a conference facility. It seats like close to 1,000 people. And when we went through it and did the social distancing, it turns out it will only hold 100 people under those constraints. So that gives you an example of what we were faced with. So very, very large classes typically got moved to an online or remote mode. In some cases, medium-sized classes might have been put into a hybrid or a sort of an alternating version of that. And in some cases, it made sense for these smaller classes, obviously, to meet in larger classrooms. And so we were able to adjust schedules and figure out how to it was like a jigsaw puzzle, kind of putting all this together, using our classroom spaces as efficiently as we could. So there were a lot of components that went into that decision. And so some courses which were already online, we just left them that way. There was no reason to move them to face-to-face. Although there were some cases where faculty came back and said, you know what, I really want to teach it face-to-face, even though originally it was going to be online. And so we allowed them to do that. So,
great. We've got a couple other questions, some generic questions here, so we'll go over those. Got some questions about cleaning and disinfecting. We obviously recognize that is an area of concern. I would remind everyone, if you haven't already, to check out the Rocket Restart webpage. We go into great detail here, but just so that everyone is aware, all areas of campus will be thoroughly cleaned at least once per day. We are using the FDA and CDC approved products. Our custodial staff will be providing extra attention to high traffic, high touch areas, so the community study spaces, etc. All restrooms on campus will be cleaned twice per day, with additional cleaning for high traffic areas. And so, we want you to feel comfortable that the residence halls, our campus folks, everyone on campus, as I walked in last week, I couldn't believe how meticulous campus looks. Our facilities folks have been doing an amazing job, but if you want specific details about the type of cleaning products, et cetera, that we're using, head on over to our website. We provide all of that information there for you. Here's a good question. Maybe Dr. Fischer-Kinney, you can help us with this. How will group projects work, and what kind of advice do you have for students who might be in an online or remote course who have a group project? What kind of tools, resources are available for them?
That's a great question. I think our students are very, very savvy from a technology standpoint. Connecting with your peers is so important, whether it's a peer study group or it's a group assignment. But utilize the resources available, whether it's a WebEx, a Zoom, a Teams meeting. We have all of those technologies and platforms available to you as a University of Toledo student. So hopefully you'll be able to connect easily and quickly. I know my own daughter in the spring semester, she was doing that every day. She was connecting with her peers in her classes on various projects and studying. So use the technology that's here for you. And again, if you encounter technical difficulties, be sure to reach out to our IT department or UToledo Online for any Blackboard issues.
Provost Bjorkman, we've got some questions here about the distance learning fee and how it's being applied to online and remote courses this semester. Can you help us understand that?
Sure. So what the courses that were originally planned to be online, which have a DL fee attached to them, they will continue to have that DL fee attached. The courses that were originally planned to be face-to-face that had to be moved to online because they were, say, too large to fit in a classroom, etc., those courses will not be assessed a DL fee. If they were originally planned to be face-to-face, we were forced to move them online because of COVID, they will not be assessed a DL fee. So those that were already online, you knew they were online, the DL fee is still there, but no courses were converted and then added a DL fee.
So we've got some students who are asking, will the computer labs be open, and how will we be enforcing social distancing in computer labs across campus?
So they've actually been just working on that. One of the things that they're doing is they're, for example, taking out some of the computers to make fewer spaces in there and removing some chairs so that the computers are spaced appropriately. That means that the computer labs will have less capacity, but we will also make sure that we have plenty of them around. So those are being looked at right now. What we're finding is, interestingly, over the past few years, we've noticed that the computer labs often get less and less use as time goes by because students have their laptops or they have their Wi-Fi equipped devices or even their cell phones that they're using to access their materials. But we will make sure that the computer labs are available. They just will be spaced differently, and we're in the process of, we'll possibly tape off some areas. We'll make sure that the social distancing is there.
Great. Along those same lines, Provost Bjorkman, we've got several engineering students whose courses are going to be face-to-face this fall, as I imagine there's a lot of lab work that goes with that. They're concerned about how we're going to be enforcing social distancing and safety precaution prevention measures in those classes. Can you walk us through what we'll be doing in face-to-face courses?
Yes, thank you. That's a really important question. All of our lab courses and our in-person sort of hands-on kinds of things have had to work through sort of the modality of how are we going to do that. And typically what they're doing is they may be assigning different students to come at different times. They might be staggering when you're actually in there, so we have fewer people in there at the same time. In some cases, they've designed it so that they can split up into smaller groups and they'll have separate workspaces. So all of these things have had to be thought through. One of the things that we realized in the spring, but when we had to do the lockdown and we were completely remote, was it was a huge problem for all of those experiential hands-on kinds of things like laboratory courses and so on. So we've had the time now to think through how we're going to do those, and we're able to cope with that now.
Great, thank you. Dr. Fischer-Kinney, can you talk to us, will the tutoring center be open physically if students need help? Do you know?
So we have, when we think about tutoring, sometimes we just think tutoring, but we also have supplemental instruction, the writing center, our academic support services are fairly broad. Things will continue to be accessible. We do have online or e-tutoring as it's sometimes called. We have the writing center, which offers 30 and 60-minute appointments. So we are accessible to our students. I encourage you to visit the Learning Enhancement Center website, and that's where you can find out exactly what subjects we will offer tutoring in, how often. For example, supplemental instruction will be available multiple times per week depending on the course. So I really want to encourage you to check out the website, bookmark that page. And I believe Tia Tucker, our Executive Director for Academic Support Services, might be in our chat box even to answer some specific questions for you. But the short answer is yes.
Great, thank you. Provost Bjorkman, last spring when we had to shift so rapidly, we offered students a pass-fail option. Will that be an option this fall?
So we did a special one in the spring because we had to do that in the middle of the semester. So this year this fall, there will be, of course, the usual pass-fail option. That is still available. I want to make sure that everybody understands that if you want to select that, you need to select that at the beginning of the semester. It will not be where you can wait until the end of the semester. That was a special thing for spring because we had to switch in midstream. At this point, you can still request pass-fail for a course, but you have to do it early on in the semester. So if you're interested in that, please talk to your academic advisor. I want to offer one caution, which is that depending on what kind of program you're in, if you select pass-fail for a particular course, it might have an impact on your progress or your For example, if you're thinking about applying to med school, or if you're thinking about applying to a professional school, you want to make sure that you're not harming yourself because a med school won't accept a pass-fail in a given course. So I would just caution you, please talk to your academic advisor before you just do that, to make sure that it will not impact your degree progress.
Fantastic. Well, we've had a great discussion here today. We are running out of time. The takeaways that I heard from the two of you were, when in doubt, contact your success coach or your academic advisor. Those are both great places to start. And that, even though things might be a little different this fall, all of us here at the University of Toledo, your faculty, our staff, are excited about you being here, and we're going to do everything we can to help make you feel comfortable and help ensure that you are successful. I want to remind everyone that if you're just tuning in, we are keeping up all of the updates on our restart plans on the Rocket Restart website. You can access that directly from the utoledo.edu homepage. You can also find on there an archive of these webinars. We'll be posting this one within 24 hours on the Countdown to Launch page. You can also go back and watch last week's if you missed that. And as a reminder that we'll be back here next Wednesday at 2 p.m. We're going to be talking about student success, specifically looking at how the resources that the university has available for underrepresented minority students and first-generation students. So it should be a good discussion. And in the meantime, be sure you're checking the website. We're here to answer your questions. We will be doing these webinars every Wednesday until classes start on the 17th. So we'll see you back here next week.